We want to hear now from somebody who grew to know the Carter family personally, especially in these last few years of the president's life.
ABC's Steve Osunsami is live outside the Carter Center in Plains, Georgia. You ended up interviewing Jimmy and Rosalynn Carter in what was really their last televised interview. What was it like to be with them? And then what will you never forget?
We did talk with them. It was their last televised interview. It was 3 years ago. We did not talk about current events. We did not talk about global affairs. This was celebrating their 75th wedding anniversary. I was very proud to have conducted that interview with them. And what I'll never forget is just seeing in plain English how much they loved each other and how much their love for each other was a key to his success post-presidency and a key to him getting through his time in the White House. She was absolutely his partner in life, his partner in spirit. They gave me a master class on what it took to endure in a relationship, and it was very clear to me and everyone who was with me, the crew that is with me right now, in fact, helped shoot that interview, that one of the reasons for their longevity was their relationship.
And Steve, President Biden spoke about the loss of Jimmy Carter feeling like the loss of a friend. What was it about him that made people, that touched people in such a personal, lasting way?
I think one of the big things is that, as I said earlier this morning, Jimmy Carter was a man of the soil. He was a former farmer. He was a Southerner, a man who lived for all of his life in a small little house that was smaller than the house that I live in, off of a small country road, would never let his family make it bigger. There's a Secret Service on the road where Carter lives. There's a Secret Service sort of shack where they have their cars that sits next to the home. It is no bigger than the Carter house by order of Jimmy Carter. They needed a bigger place, but they could not get one because Jimmy Carter wouldn't let them. His grandson told me a story a few months ago about how they were trying to change some of the appliances in the old house. They had appliances from the 70s, like an old microwave that Jason was telling me was probably dangerous, but Jimmy Carter didn't want them changing it because that microwave still worked. I interviewed him once. I'm actually at the Carter Center directly behind me here in Atlanta. I interviewed him once at the Carter Center a number of years ago, and I'm very heat sensitive, and I came and it was super hot downstairs, and I asked them, can we please turn on the AC? It was in the middle of summer. And they told me that Jimmy Carter wouldn't let them, that he would refuse. He would refuse to turn on the AC because he didn't want anyone stepping on his power bill. This is a man who lived a humble life, a modest life, his entire life, who, when he would fly, I was on a plane once and he was flying to New York, and he did this every time he flew. You'll see a lot of this on social media right now, a lot of these videos that people are sharing. When Jimmy Carter flew, you would see the Secret Service at the beginning and the back of the plane. When he would get on, he would shake the hands of every single person on the plane, every single person, before he took his seat. That was the type of person and the type of leader Jimmy Carter was. He wasn't just a statesman, he was also, in many respects, an everyday man.
I really enjoy hearing all these stories of the person of Jimmy Carter, but I do want to ask you about the president, Jimmy Carter, because we know that he will be honored with a state funeral as we make our way through this process now in the next couple of weeks. With the holiday coming up this week, do we have some details on how the former president will be laid to rest?
So these plans have been in the works for decades, frankly, for many, many years. And they, this morning, have finally gotten a chance to look at them and adjust them based on the holiday. One of the complications is that there's, of course, a federal holiday coming up. The plans are 8 days in length, and what we do know is that the state funeral in Washington, D.C. will be Thursday, January 9th, and then sometime after, he will be buried here in Atlanta next to his wife in Georgia.
Wow. What a great perspective you give us. Thank you so much for joining us. ABC Steve Osunsami, and what a wonderful privilege you had. And you can hear it in your voice to have been able to be with them after their 75 years of marriage and their last televised interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stick around. Eyewitness News and ABC News will be remembering the life of former President Jimmy Carter as we learn more about funeral arrangements. We'll bring you that information on air and online at ABC7 NY.